I'm not a person who is rigid, who's committed to one way. Sometimes I try something, sometimes I try something else. I'm not a mannerist. There are people who develop a manner, and they have this manner and they impose it on their work. And sometimes it is good and sometimes it gets to be boring. But I would try different things, and sometimes I failed, and sometimes I didn't fail, and sometimes something worked out.
The voice you just heard is Saul Leiter, the godfather of street photography. Saul flipped the script on how to use color, shooting through things, putting things in the foreground, obscuring your subject, and really capturing moments, capturing the realness of New York City. And from the first time that I ever saw Saul's work, I was immediately captured, and I wanted to replicate that. What better way to replicate that than to go to New York City? I reached out to a friend that I had made on Full-Time Creator. His name's Justin. He's a very talented portrait photographer that lives in the city. We had talked a number of times about collaborating on things, and I said, let's meet up. I'll come to the city. We can run around the city and shoot street photography. And he said, yeah, so we set up a date. That cold February morning, I hopped on a train.
What's up, everybody?
He's recording.
This is Justin and Adele.
Hi.
That bald dude.
Yeah. The bald dude.
The bald dude, that's
only
right.
Bald dude.
We're shooting in New York City.
Correct.
This is so much fun. Justin, what are you shooting on today?
I am shooting on a Sony Mavica from 1991, and it shoots on floppy disks. I have to change out my floppy disk at the moment because it is now full of pictures.
Okay, how many pictures can you get on one 3.5 floppy? 20?
20.
Really?
And if I shoot video, it can only shoot 15 seconds.
So like, that's like the ultimate Vine camera.
It's the ultimate Vine. And now I have
I've been to the
format
city
small
before
disk.
as a tourist to do the normal tourist stuff. This was the first time I was going as a photographer. And as soon as you step off the train and get to street level, you see how enormous the city is your first time there. But as a photographer, it's absolutely endless. There are things everywhere to take photographs of, to capture moments, to see things that other people take for granted or just walk by. There were plenty of people walking their dogs, hurrying to their next destination. It was fashion week, so
Yeah.
everywhere, everybody's got somewhere to go.
Loving the steam.
Yeah,
The steam pockets, it's just like, oh, is that poop?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all poop?
Yeah,
Great.
it's
Your shitty job.
Literally, I see people posing in the steam all the time, like tourists, and I'll go up to them and I'll be like, "Do you know where this comes from?" And they're like, "No," and I'm like, "That's the story." On this video, on the capture, we have inverted mode. We have sepia,
Wow.
black and white, and solarized,
Solarize.
and then the regular mode.
While I'm roaming the streets of New York, it was almost like I had the voice of Saul Leiter in my ear telling me, take that photo, line this up this way, shoot that there. It was special. But one of the things that I know Saul said about photography is it makes you see things, see the world in a way that, you know, others don't quite notice, but they might be familiar to say, oh, I've been there, I know that, or I know this feeling. In a day and age with Instagram where everybody is posting these super sharp, crispy, in focus photos, Saul was different. Saul, he didn't mind motion blur. He didn't mind if things were out of focus. He often shot through glass and caught reflections glass that had like water on it or snow. Really saw things that your everyday photographer, they wouldn't notice. And that kind of artistry really speaks to me. I'm not saying that I'm an artist by any stretch of the imagination, but I appreciate art. I see the art and the beauty in the world around me. Now, capturing that art is something that I found a bit of a challenge. We headed over to the Brooklyn Bridge. I've never been there before, but it was amazing to see people standing and waiting in line to take specific photos and poses in front of the iconic bridge. I was kind of looking for other things. I found myself having to fight the things that I've learned these past 3 to 4 years of shooting photography a specific way. I had to find a way to just shoot something that I saw, a moment, and you have to be quick. You can't just wait to set up the perfect shot. You just have to go for it in that moment. So whether it turns out perfect or it doesn't, it's part of the beauty of film photography because you have no choice but to just shoot. It's difficult. You have to adopt that certain sense of, I don't care.
Terrible.
After the Brooklyn Bridge, we headed down to Dumbo, and that's where I really tried to dive into my inner Saul, like shooting on black and white, Portra 400, and just shoot to capture moments and images that I thought would be interesting. After a while, Justin and I decided to head to Chinatown. It was almost lunchtime. We were both getting kind of hungry. What better place to get food than Chinatown? Little did we know what we would find there. They were still celebrating the Lunar New Year. There were lion dances going from store to store, blessing the businesses there. There were crowds of people, confetti cannons going off, firecrackers. It was just a big celebration and a great time.
This is my first Chinatown experience. It is wild. Look at this. It's so much fun.
It's a crazy setup. Look, this man's setup. Look, this man's YouTube, fucking Instagram, TikTok setup.
It's a memory that will live on with me for a lifetime. While we were there, we met up with Jay, a talented photographer from Dallas who was in for Fashion Week.
Dude, I'm telling you, honestly, these wool socks, even though they almost killed me this morning.
And while we were there, there's crowds of people, and I see this really awesome camera rig. It's a full-on cinema rig, and I see the face, and I said, that looks a lot like Bradley Cooper. Turns out it was in fact Bradley Cooper. I snagged some Saul Leiter-esque type shots. we continued out on the street, meeting up with Jay's buddy Asgar, who was shooting video of the celebration in Chinatown. And, you know, you see people, like these people were dressed to the absolute nines for Fashion Week and decided to stop by the celebration. And there are people dancing in the streets, the drums and the clangs of the gongs, and absolutely incredible. And hopefully these photos are going to tell the story for a long time. Looking back at it now and the things that I've learned, photography is amazing at whatever skill level. And you can have so much fun with it. Trying to shoot like Saul opened my eyes to, you don't have to shoot the ultimate banger every single time. Even some bad photos come out and speak to people in such a way. I think you have to have a certain amount of I don't care, despite what all the art critics and everybody say, where it's like, oh, well, the things that Saul did were intentional. I'm not entirely sure every photograph was intentional the way he took it. I think he just wanted to capture that specific image, and how it came out is how it came out. Unfortunately, I didn't get any windows that were covered in condensation or rain, and the exercise wasn't to replicate Saul images. It was more of to put my mind in that mindset, apply maybe some of the things that he was going for, and seeing how that mixes with the things I've developed really helped me find my voice as a photographer. It's a transformative experience, really. I think it's important. I need to find the things that differentiate me as a photographer. Hopefully exercises like this help me achieve that. So, New York was awesome. I want to thank Justin for freezing his ass off with me and guiding me around the city and showing me places that I had never been to. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. And it was a pleasure meeting Adele, Jay, Asgar. You guys were great. And hopefully I will see you all again, and we'll be able to shoot and hang out a little bit more. I think I found what I'm looking for. I think I found my inner Saul. And I'm going to carry that with me for the rest of my career.